Math isn't difficult. Math is fun. I am Neelakanta Banu Prakash and I am the fastest human calculator in the world. And we are exploring infinities. Exploring infinities is here in front of you to give you a mathematics learning experience like never before. With expert trainers from around the country, we are here to make you learn math the right way.
Hi guys, welcome back. I am Hasita from Exploring Infinities. In our previous class, we discussed Theorem 9.2 and Statement 1 in the chapter Tangents and Secants to a Circle. Let us once recollect them. Theorem 9.2 states that the lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. So here we are considering a circle having center O and external point P. The tangents drawn from this point to the circle are PA and PB. Hence, according to this theorem, length of PA is equal to length of PB. Next, statement 1. This says, the center of a circle lies on the bisector of the angle between two tangents drawn from a point outside it. So, statement 1 says, the center of a circle, that is point O, lies on the angular bisector of angle APB. We proved that angle APO is equal to angle BPO, hence line segment PO is the angular bisector of angle APB, and so O lies on this angular bisector. This is what we discussed in last class, Theorem 9.2 and Statement 1. Statement 2. In two concentric circles, a chord of the bigger circle that touches the smaller circle is bisected at the point of contact with the smaller circle. So in this statement we have two circles which are concentric. It means both these circles have a common center. So it looks like there is a small circle inside a big circle. Here we have two concentric circles having common center O. Let us name the bigger circle C1 and the smaller circle C2. According to statement 2, a chord of the bigger circle that touches the smaller circle is bisected at the point of contact with the smaller circle. So first, we need to draw a chord to the bigger circle, that is circle C1, such that it is touching circle C2. Here, I am drawing a chord of C1 touching C2. Let the chord be AB and let the point of contact be P. So this chord is bisected at the point of contact with the smaller circle. That means P is the midpoint of chord AB. So in order to prove statement 2, we have to prove that AP is equal to PB. Let us write down what we need to prove. To prove P is midpoint of AB, that implies AP is equal to PB. In order to prove this, there are some constructions that we have to make in our figure. We have to join the points OP, OA and OB. Join OP, OA and OB. So the constructions needed in the proof of this statement are joining OA, OB and OP. Let us now recollect Theorem 9.1. According to Theorem 9.1, the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius passing through its point of contact. So tangent is perpendicular to radius at point of contact. Here, chord AB of circle C1 is touching C2 at a single point. So we can say that chord AB of circle C1 is tangent to circle C2. AB is tangent to circle C2. And the point of contact of this tangent is point P. So AB is tangent to C2 at point P. We have a radius of circle C2 at point P, which is OP. So according to Theorem 9.1, we can say that tangent AB is perpendicular to radius OP at point P. Hence, we obtain angle OPB and OPA to be 90 degrees. Now we can observe in our figure that two triangles have been formed. One of them is triangle OPA and the other is triangle OPB. We know that angle OPB and angle OPA are equal to 90 degrees. So the equal angles in these triangles are angle OPA equal to angle OPB equal to 90 degrees. Then we have a common side which is OP. So OP is equal to OP, that is our common side. Next, we can observe that the hypotenuses in both the triangles, that is side OA and side OB, are also equal since they are the radii of circle C1. So we have equal sides. OA is equal to OB since they are radii of circle C2. Here we can notice that we have a right angle, hypotenuses of equal length and sides of equal length. That means, according to RHS congruency axiom, we can say that triangle OPA is congruent to triangle OPB. Now we know that in congruent triangles, corresponding paths are equal. This is what we call CPCT in short. So by CPCT, we can say that side AP is equal to side PB. In this figure, we can notice that line segments AP and PB lie on the chord AB. Since AP is equal to PB, we can say that point P is the midpoint of chord AB. So we can conclude that P is midpoint of AB. Here, what is P? It is the point of contact of chord of the bigger circle, that is chord of C1 to C2. And this chord is being bisected at P. That means chord of the bigger circle in these two concentric circles is being bisected at its point of contact with the smaller circle. And that is nothing but our statement. Hence, we have proved statement 2 given in our textbook. Let us once go through the steps that we followed in order to prove this statement. The statement says, in two concentric circles, a chord of the bigger circle that touches the smaller circle is bisected at the point of contact with the smaller circle, where C1 is the bigger circle and C2 is the smaller circle. They have a common center, that is point O. We considered a chord AB of the bigger circle which is touching our smaller circle at point P. Since this chord is touching circle C2 at a single point, we can say that chord AB is tangent to circle C2. Now, as we learnt in theorem 9.1, the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius passing through its point of contact. So here we have tangent AB and the radius passing through its point of contact OP. Hence, AB is perpendicular to OP at point P. So that gives us two right angled triangles, triangle OPA and triangle OPB. Using RHS congruency theorem, we were able to prove that triangle OPA is congruent to triangle OPB. We know that in congruent triangles, corresponding paths are equal. So using this, we have concluded that line segment AP is equal to line segment PB. What are we supposed to prove? That AP is equal to PB, and we have proved it. Hence, P is the midpoint of AB. And P is nothing but the point of contact of the chord of bigger circle touching our smaller circle. So, this chord of the bigger circle is being bisected at its point of contact with the smaller circle. And that is our statement 2. Hence, statement 2 has been proved. Now, let us see statement 3. Statement 3. If two tangents AP and AQ are drawn to a circle with center O from an external point A, then angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OPQ is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. In order to understand this statement, let us first draw our diagram. Here we have a circle having center O and our external point A. From this external point, it is given that tangents AP and AQ are drawn onto our circle. So here we have one of our tangents and this is our second tangent. The points of contact are P and Q. This statement has a slightly long proof, so I'd suggest all of you to draw this diagram and write down the steps of the proof along with me. In the question, we have three angles mentioned: angle PAQ, angle OPQ and angle OQP. Let us recognize these angles in our figure. First, this is our angle PAQ. In order to find angle OPQ and angle OQP, we need to make some constructions. So, construction. This would be our angle OPQ and this would be angle OQP. Hence, we have to join OP, PQ and OQ. Join OP, PQ and OQ. This is PQ. Here we have OP and OQ. So our constructions are done. Now this is angle OPQ and this is angle OQP. If we denote all the angles using a single arc, it would give the meaning that all of these angles are equal in measurement. So I will be erasing these arcs now. Let us just remember where these angles lie. This is our angle PAQ, this is angle OPQ and this is angle OQP. What do we have to prove? We need to prove that angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OPQ and that is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. 2 times of angle OPQ is equal to 2 times of angle OQP means we have to prove that angle OPQ is equal to angle OQP. So we have to prove that this angle is equal to this angle and that each of these angles is half of angle PAQ. We have learnt in theorem 9.2 that the lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. So here, if we consider our external point A and the tangents drawn from it, that are AP and AQ, we can say that the length of tangent AP is equal to length of tangent AQ. In our figure, we have two triangles, triangle PAQ and triangle OPQ. Now let us consider triangle PAQ. This is triangle PAQ. Now we have seen that AP is equal to AQ. So in triangle PAQ, this side is equal to this side. That means this triangle has two sides of equal length. So we can say that triangle PAQ is an isosceles triangle. We know that in an isosceles triangle, the angles opposite to equal sides are also equal. Here, the angle opposite to side AQ would be angle APQ and the angle opposite to side AP would be angle AQP. Hence, angle AQP is equal to angle APQ. On applying angle sum property to triangle PAQ, we obtain the sum of all angles to be 180 degrees. That means angle PAQ plus angle AQP plus angle APQ would be equal to 180 degrees. And this is the angle sum property of triangles. But in these angles, we know that angle AQP and angle APQ are equal. So we can write this as angle PAQ plus angle AQP plus again angle AQP is equal to 180 degrees. That means angle PAQ plus 2 times of angle AQP is equal to 180 degrees. That means angle PAQ plus 2 times of angle AQP is equal to 180 degrees. So if we have only angle AQP on the left hand side and send the remaining terms to right hand side, we will obtain angle AQP is equal to 180 degrees minus PAQ whole divided by 2, because we are sending the 2 in numerator of left hand side to the right hand side. And on simplifying this, we obtain 180 degrees by 2, that is 90 degrees, minus half of angle PAQ. Here we have seen that angle AQP is equal to angle APQ. So we can write this final equation as angle AQP is equal to angle APQ is equal to 90 degrees minus half of angle PAQ. Let us call this equation 1. Look at our figure once again. In theorem 9.1, we have learned that the tangent to a circle at any point is perpendicular to the radius passing through its point of contact. So tangent is perpendicular to radius at point of contact. Here we have two tangents, tangent AP and tangent AQ. So at point P, we can write that tangent AP is perpendicular to radius OP. That implies angle OPA would be 90 degrees. Then at point Q, we can write that tangent AQ is perpendicular to radius OQ. So we will have angle OQA is equal to 90 degrees. Let this be equation 2 and let this be equation 3. Here I have redrawn angle OPA. This point would be Q. Now we saw that angle OPA is equal to 90 degrees. Here we can express angle OPA as the sum of angle OPQ and angle QPA. That means on substituting this in equation 2, we will obtain angle OPQ plus angle QPA is equal to 90 degrees. Here we have the term angle QPA. Notice in equation 1, we have the term angle APQ. Angle APQ and angle QPA are the same angle. So on substituting equation 1 in this equation, we will obtain angle OPQ plus 90 degrees minus half of angle PAQ is equal to 90 degrees. We can cancel 90 degrees on both sides. Then angle OPQ minus half of angle PAQ would be equal to 0. That means angle OPQ is equal to half of angle PAQ. On cross multiplying and taking 2 to the other side, we obtain angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OPQ. Let this be equation 4. Now let us observe the angle at point Q. This will be point O, this will be P and this will be A. We have seen in equation 3 that angle OPA is 90 degrees. Now we can express angle OQA as the sum of angle OQP and angle PQA. On substituting this in equation 3, we will obtain angle OQP plus angle PQA is equal to 90 degrees. Once again, we have common terms here in this equation, that is angle PQA and angle AQP from equation 1. So on substituting equation 1 in our equation here, we will get angle OQP plus 90 degrees minus half of angle PAQ is equal to 90 degrees. Again, we can cancel 90 on both sides and get angle OQP minus half of angle PAQ is equal to 0. That implies angle OQP is equal to half of angle PAQ. And on cross multiplying and taking 2 to the other side, we will obtain our fifth equation, which is angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. Finally, in equation 4 and equation 5, we have a common term, that is angle PAQ. So when we write equation 4 and equation 5 together, we obtain angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OPQ is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. And this is the relation between angles given in statement 3. Hence, statement 3 has been proved. The proof to this statement is a little long and hence it can seem confusing, but it is actually pretty simple. Let us go through the steps of this proof once again and understand the proof clearly. Our statement says, if two tangents AP and AQ are drawn to a circle with center O from an external point A, then angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OPQ is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. So here we have our external point A and circle having center O. We have drawn two tangents AP and AQ. We have to prove that angle PAQ is equal to twice of angle OPQ, which is equal to twice of angle OQP. Now that we know that angle OPQ is equal to angle OQP, we can denote both of them using two arcs. In theorem 9.2, we have seen that lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. Hence, the lengths of tangents drawn from external point A to our circle having center O, that is AP and AQ, are equal. So if we notice the triangle APQ in our figure, we can say that it is an isosceles triangle. And in an isosceles triangle, the angles opposite to equal sides are equal. Hence, angle APQ is equal to angle AQP. On applying angle sum property of triangles in triangle PAQ and simplifying the initial equation that we got, we get angle AQP is equal to angle APQ is equal to 90 degrees minus half of angle PAQ. And we thought of this equation as equation 1. Then we have seen in theorem 9.1 that tangent and radius are perpendicular at the point of contact of tangent. So we obtained equation 2 and 3, which say angle OPA and angle OQP are equal to 90 degrees. Angle OPA can be expressed as the sum of angle OPQ and angle APQ. On substituting this in equation 2, we have obtained equation 4, which says angle PAQ is equal to half of angle OPQ. Similarly, angle OQA can be expressed as the sum of angle OQP and angle AQP. And on substituting this in equation 3, we have obtained our equation 5, which says angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. From equation 4 and equation 5, we obtain the final statement that we have to prove, that is angle PAQ is equal to 2 times of angle OPQ, that is equal to 2 times of angle OQP. Hence, our statement 3 has been proved. This concludes our discussion for the current class. In the next class, we will be seeing statement 4 and some sums based on these statements. The trick to learning math properly is practice, practice and more practice. So go through the statements that we have discussed today and practice their proofs. See you in next class. Until then, bye.
And so we come to an end to today's lecture. Thanks a lot for watching this and stay tuned for the upcoming ones. Don't forget to follow @fastesthumancalculator and @exp.infi on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel.